diversification, so we can plan out ganks and figure out what we want to do and use strategies together instead of playing like a solo queue where you're just played with 4 random players.
The one thing actually that I don't like so much about Leona is that her passive is not so easy to see. So, they do like that, or they promoted it as basically it allows you to set a target for your team to attack, but it actually is kind of hard to see. It's a little bit of a glowing sunlight glow, but it's really kind of hard to see for your team.
Especially on the smaller characters too, or in the big team fights. But when it comes to team fights, everyone's going to be lit up.
Well, to be honest, I'd rather see like a huge arrow on top of their head. And, can really let's take out the
attack me. Yeah,
let's take out the retard factor in this. Really, really help out those players and basically, allow them to hit that target that you want.
Yeah, a good little hunter's mark on there.
Yeah, exactly. Huge arrow here.
Yeah. And so the next clip here is basically what are we in? We're like around 12 minutes into the game. Or no, maybe 22 minutes into the game here.
Yeah, so the score is about 15-19.
We see that there's no one on the map. Top's empty, mid's empty, bottom's empty. It's too early to get Baron. Baron is the largest of the neutral creeps. He is actually like the boss of the map.
Well, I'd promote him as the high risk, high reward.
Yeah, he is the highest reward of the game.
Yeah, you get 300 gold and a ton of experience.
Yeah, but it's way too early for that, and we know the team is not going to be, going for Baron. They could be trying to take out their jungle or hide in the grass somewhere and try for gank. But instead, we group up and go check Dragon because we had a feeling that they're a Dragon, and of course, we do catch them at Dragon, and. Just with this team comp, we do have some great initiation. Leona flashes in, I guess. Lancer's Zenith Blade gets right in the middle of that. Has her Eclipse. She saves her Solar Flare for the assist on Annie there. And, the team, just with the constant push, the increased speeds, and overall damage that we bumped out early on, we were able to successfully take out that team. We did lose Dragon, but we made up for it with the kills. So as you see here, Corki initiates in, pops in. Leona is right there in the middle of that with the Zenith Blade, so she did hop in. And it looks like, who got away there?
Both the Annie and the LeBlanc try to get away,
but decides to stay around for too long to assist the Annie, and it doesn't work out for her.
Yeah, sometimes a lot of players, they've really got to learn to cut their losses, and that's a huge mistake that I find a lot of players make. They come back and they try to be that lifeguard or I guess savior to their team member.
I'll come save you, but that ends up just dying.
Exactly. So even though Dragon is a great thing to get, and Dragon Control becomes a huge part of the mid to late game. But the one thing that you want to make sure is that you're not sacrificing too much to get that dragon. And right here, this team, I think sacrificed too much to get that dragon kill. 4 deaths, which is almost an ace. On that extra, experience and kills and everything. It's not worth it.
Yeah, at the time before this actually happened, they were up on kills. It was 15-19, and so they maybe thought they were comfortable positioned to take dragon. But Garrett lands his Zenith Blade on the Xin Zhao. Sona flashes in, lands her stun, and there's just so many immobilizing moves on our team that it hinders them and they lose the fight. And once again, Zenith Blade right there and lands it. She drops her ulti, making sure she does die, and the team just keeps pushing. And there's nothing that this LeBlanc can do. No. She's already blown her summoner spells, and that's about it. And that was that team fight there at Dragon.
Yeah, well, one thing I think that is huge to point out here is that, I think a lot of players, they get really discouraged when they see that the team is behind by, 5 to 7 kills. But what they need to realize is that, 5 to 7 kills, that's all you need is one really, really good group fight, and, you're back in the game. And, even though if you're behind those 5 to 7 kills, you can really turn things around. That's one of the things that I really like about League of Legends is that, things start to even out by the end of the game. Everyone gets level 18. There's an item cap, and it's not really that hard to hit that item cap by the end of the game. At 40 minutes, it's fairly easy for everyone on your team to be maxed out, and then from there it becomes just a test of skill, which is a great thing that you want to see in almost any competitive game. You want to see the skill difference in each of those different players or teams to see out who comes on top.
Yeah. And our next clip here, I believe we were... this is later in the game where we were going for Baron. We were able to successfully get Baron. Let's just jump back to the start of the clip here. We're at the end of it here. All right, here we go. So we finished Baron, and they're still off the map. And we knew they were coming for us because I think we had a clairvoyance just before they could see.
Yeah.
And so we decided to go right for their blue, maybe catch someone trying to do blue, because people who run always like to stay in the jungle and just try to pick up, any kind of experience or buffs
Well, actually,
as they leave.
yeah, I think actually, if I remember correctly, what happened here is we caught someone off guard and we got them to about 25% health, so they had to go back and heal. So we used that advantage to try and force a 5v4.
Yeah.
And of course,
on the Baron. So yeah, we were already at Baron, and we were able to get it quickly before they can even catch up to us.
Well, and of course, you never really want to engage a 4v5.
No.
It's not in your best interest. So they waited at their blue for their weak team member to come back and try and engage us in a 5v5. But the problem is that we got the Baron buff, and the Baron buff is huge. It adds extra damage, extra health, extra mana. It's just.
Let's just pause it right. Right on here. So basically, as we are initiated on, LeBlanc lands her chains, and the fight's just about to start. They're not going to just let LeBlanc die. The team's going to help support, and a team fight's going to happen any second here. So same thing that happened at Dragon, same thing's happening here at the Blue Golem section. Leona's going to drop her Zenith Blade. It's going to go right into the middle of it. Sona's going to stun, and Cork's going to jump in. We do have Fiddles that can fear and silence, and it's just. They're too grouped up, and we have such a great AoE team and stuns, damage, and as you see here, you're gonna see what happens in this clip.
Yeah, the team just pretty much explodes.
Yeah, a lot of them couldn't even attack because of the time they were stunned, and our Ezreal in this game was just very strong at this point. As you saw, when his ultimate went through, it just took off a good portion of their life.
Actually, I think he was slightly trolling. I think he was playing AP Ezreal. I can't remember correctly, but
Yeah, he was playing AP Ezreal actually. So his ultimate was his major source of damage.
It's not the most traditional build, but when you land that ultimate, it does major damage. The AP ratios on his ultimate are huge. So you can get quite a bit of burst if there are no creeps blocking the way. So the last short clip here we have. This is the beginning of the match. And what happens here is we're doing a little bit of skirmish fighting, and it's a little bit intense. And we have a Taric and Leona bottom lane. So we were talking about that dual lane survivability, and pair her with a stun, and that's what we did here. So we're up against a Mordekaiser and a Sion. So it's an equally challenging lane for us to deal with because they have a lot of burst, they have a lot of damage, and they have the things that we need to basically kind of try and shut us down. What happened here though is we kind of caught them off guard. We landed a stun, so we basically baited them out here. You see the Mordekaiser coming out, landing his E, as most Mordekaisers do, and Taric stuns him. That's got to be KD there. Lands a nice stun, and I just land all my abilities, and it just makes him explode.
Yeah. Let's take a look here. You can just watch and see what kind of happens.
Yes, you see right there, you land the stun. I land my Zenith Blade, go right to him. Sunlight goes down. Gotta be KD's making a great use of my passive.
Yeah.
So basically,
what was going on here, because I knew I have an AoE ability, and that's my Shatter. So I really enjoy the Taric Leona combo with this that we have going on right here. As you see, every time I see him landing his abilities on Mordekaiser there, I'm always auto-attacking or making sure I'm hitting him to use the full extent of his sunlight. And then I land Shadow just before the fight ends, and that pops the passive again. And you want to make full use of that because it's so much damage that you're doing. Because technically together we're not that strong of a combo. We're both average strength. We're mostly just support or initiation. But with that extra damage that is getting pumped out from the sunlight, it's really almost adding on like we have another source of damage.
Yeah. So you can see here there's that little glowing ball of light, and that's the sunlight passive.
Yeah.
So you can see that we kill the Mordekaiser, and obviously Sion now into some creeps. It's like I'm not going to go and enter that. I'm just going to go hug my tower.
And we really can initiate because we're really low in health, and really have our abilities down, or
So those are the few some of the scenarios that you might find yourself in when playing Leona, and just different ways that you can handle that situation. And the next thing we have here is we just have a 10-minute clip, which is basically the mid to end game of one of our. I think this is the third game we played with.
Yeah,
Leona.
this was the third game we played, and we decided just to show 10 minutes of the clip near the end. The game's already 32 minutes in, and this is with Leona, Jarvan, Tarek, Xin and Ezreal. The same, or I guess same team comp that we used earlier, and we're basically up 21 to 15 kills.
So we got a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, we got a little bit of lead. I'll kind of recap you on what's going on. Right now we're just clearing the lanes. Ezreal's mid. Jarvan went back to heal or buy, and so he's going to be coming up to us now soon. But I'm playing Tarek. We have my friend playing Zhao, and we have, of course, Garrett here playing Leona. We decided to just go camp their jungle and hopefully try to catch someone walking by off guard.
Well, we got all the lanes pushed, so we can see everything that's going on the map. We got a ward in the bottom river, so we can really tell where their team is. They've either got to be shopping or just dancing around in their base. But
there's only two options, I guess, right?
Well, that's all you got to be doing. But no, of course, Mordekaiser we see there picks a third option to go wander around in his jungle, and we're just waiting in the woods for him. So he didn't have a ward there, and we made him pay for it.
Yeah.
And it just extends on our lead. So we try and get those little
victories.
Yeah,
we don't want to overextend or be too pushy. We got that kill. We shouldn't be trying to tower dive. We shouldn't try to do too much because we don't want to give them kills as well. We want to make sure we're keeping those victories and.
Well, we don't want to lose our lead, right? Like I said, that one lead. Team fight and it turns around the battle. So you can see there, we killed that Mordekaiser. We tried to go push for bottom tower. We noticed that they were defending it really well, and we're going to back off. We're going to say, okay, we're going to take that Mordekaiser kill, back off. We don't really need to push any further. We're going to take that victory.
Yeah.
And it's taking those little victories and knowing when to either cut your losses or not overextend, and basically it allows you to snowball those things into a huge victory.
Yeah.
So, of course, here we can take a quick pause here. You can see my level 16 stats with the build that I have, and this is the Magic Pen build. So you can see I went Source Boots for that Magic Pen. I have an Abyssal Scepter for more Magic Pen. I have that Rylai's, so that extra slow, that extra CC, which makes it, really hard to get it away from her. I've got tons of hit points with this build. I've got almost 3,000 hit points, 1,400 mana. I have plenty of staying power.
Well, what the good thing about Abyssal Scepter, though, it's not just for you; it's for your team. Any nearby enemy champions will be affected by the Abyssal Scepter. Basically, it's not magic penetration; it's lowers magic resist of nearby enemy champions. So this benefits your moves, and also let's see, Tarek's, Ezreal's, and almost every character that has a little bit of ability power, it will benefit for them.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have like an Annie or a Brand to make full benefit of that.
Yeah. But the Ezreal is going AP, so
yeah. So you see those ultimates that do those huge numbers. But I got that 29 spell pen flat out, and then I get an extra. I think it's 24, or is it 20?
I think it's 20. Reduced magic resist. Yeah.
And then with that 15%, so I'm just making sure that the abilities that I do have are hitting for as much as they can hit already.
Yeah. Let's keep this going here, and we can watch out the rest of the film here, and I'll just kind of go over what we're doing and explain what's going on. So right now we're just pushing up the lanes. Zin's getting red buff, making use of the jungle.
Yeah.
And
we do have
Tark's
a CV on the
here.
team as well. You can see right here that we CV in the top left-hand corner here, so we can see kind of where or get a good judge of where they are in the game. CV is a huge skill, and I think that almost every team should have it. It's just if you go up against a team that doesn't have CV, you'll find yourself really far behind if you're not buying the wards.
And CV, of course, for those who don't know, it stands for Clairvoyance. It allows a summoner to cast an aerial light on a map, basically, and it reveals a section on the map for a short period of time. And it's really good for going into a forest where you have no wards or initiating. As you see there, I clairvoyanced over blue and wolves on the red side, and we see no one there, so we're going to go in there. We're going to go in that grass and hide in that grass. We're assuming that they have no wards. We do not have.
Well, CV is huge. I want to make a point of that for face checking. Now, face checking, I think, is one of the biggest mistakes that low-level players have.
Yeah.
They're either playing an AD carry or an AP character or a squishier character, and what we call face checking is when you basically just right-click into a grass without knowing what's there.
Yeah, and you can really damage your team by doing that. Like, you'll give enemy teams free kills And sorry, there was a phone call. And you can give the other team, enemy team, advantage 4v5, and now you're forced to defend, or you're forced not to push. And